like that. Maybe a bass here. Let's go with something darker with the bass. What do we have more? Synth, piano, bass, kick, drums, and that is basically what I will start out with, I think, for now. So let's close that. So now I can just throw in my different ideas. So let's say that I have a piano or I have a chord progression that I want to create. I can just create a new chord progression and throw it into this track here and start to create my simple, very simple short arrangement. Then I can create a kick, drums, and everything like that. Then if I create some more tracks, I can just start to create them here as I produce the track, you know, because you don't know what you should use in your project like before you even start the project. So this is just a very simple way to start out with your project and set everything up so you don't have to redo stuff like that. And also what I like to use here is to go to the channel rack and create, this is a sampler as you can see. I want it to be like that because I can throw in different audio here and try it out. And then I also like the FL keys, which is a piano. So let's, like that. So let's have it in like that as well. Then I like to use the 3X oscillators, which is 3 oscillators that I can try out different bass sounds with. I can choose the different shapes here of the oscillators and just create some different cool stuff. So I always have that in as well. So now I have a sampler, I have FL keys, and I have oscillators in here as well. So now it's very easy for me to start out with a track. So let's say that I want to create FL keys and I have a chord progressions that I want to create. I can just draw in different stuff here. All right, so that is. Yeah, and now I can just create this. So I put it here in the piano, and now I can start to create the arrangement with the kick drum, drums, and other stuff like that. And I also want to set up something or mixer channels in the mixer section here. And I basically do the same thing as I have in the channel rack here and what I have in my playlist. So let's say I have the kick drum here and I have drums 1, 2, and 3. I always want to set up one track for the kick drum. So let's do the same thing, kick, and put it on red. Then I do one mixer channel for the drums, which will be a bus basically. And a bus is a group of different sounds and different instruments and audio samples. So whatever I have put in here in drums 1, 2, and 3 should go through this bus here, kick and drums. And then I have synth, so let's do the same thing here, synths, I would call it like that. And this is just to group the different synths together. And as you can see with the coloring here, you have the recent used colors here, so you don't have to search for the colors. And so let's do it like that, synths. Then we have bass sounds, okay? So now I have my 4 different sounds that I want to group them together within the mixer channel. And so let's say that I create a piano, I create, let's say a guitar sound, for instance. All of that I want it to be grouped into the synth because I want to create a compressor for sounds that are in the mid section of the EQ spectrum, and let's say bass sounds where I want to cut everything that is in the higher frequency spectrum. And yeah, so same thing goes with the drums here and the kick. So what I would do first thing here, so for the kick drum I will leave it as it is. Drum section I will go with a compressor. So let's go with a Fruity compressor here. And what you can do here is to go to the presets that shows up here, and for a nice drums compression, just go with the drums preset here and leave it as it is, basically. And for the drums, I also want to EQ out the lowest low end, because that is where we want our bass to be. And this is very important when you're creating mixdowns, because otherwise you will have to have an EQ on almost every single channel. So you don't want that. You want different sounds to be grouped to these 4 buses, or if you have more buses, you can create that as well. The buses are basically groups that you're grouping different sounds together with, and then you're treating them as one. So let's go with the paramedic EQ here, and I can just lower the lowest end of the EQ here. So I put it like that. Now we have the drums being, as you can see here, just cut it off on the low end. And this is why we have different groups for the kick drum and the drums, because with the kick, basically a kick drum is a drum, right? But with the kick drum, especially in electronic dance music, you have the kick drum with a lot of bass in it. Because if you would cut off the bass from the kick drum, it would not be powerful and your track would sound like, it would not sound good at all, you know. So you want the bass to be there with the kick drum. And that is why I have the kick drum left out of the drums group. So I have that for the drums group, and then we go to the synths. So in the synths group, I want it to be actually kind of the same thing here. So let's go with a fruity compressor, and you can do a full reset vintage mix, for instance. But what I would like to do here is to go to a third-party plugin, which is all for free. You can find it in the description of this course. So what we can do here is to go to more plugins, and now I can find all of my different plugins on my computer. So I will search for OTT, which is the plugin that I'm referring to from X4 Records. It's for free, so let's just use it like that. And now I put this depth here to about, let's say 12%, something like that. And what this does is it's a downwards compressor. It's a bit complicated. I don't actually know the exact thing that the OTT does, and I made some research, you know, about it, and there are some different YouTube videos that tries to explain this, but still I don't really exactly know what it does. But it's a multiband compressor and it sounds awesome. So I think it sounds best when it's set around here in the depth, around let's say 1/4 here. And you can use this on almost